So I'm going to start off with our 204 eyeshadow blending brush, and I'm going to be using it just to build a little bit of colour across the lid. So we already have a nice base colour. This is just to give a little bit more drama. And you can see I'm kind of patting the brush flat against the eyelid. Don't worry too much about blending this just yet, but what you should do is just check in with your eyes open, looking directly into a mirror, and just see where that colour falls. If you have slightly hooded eyes like I do, you might want to take the colour up a little bit beyond the socket of the eye, and that way you'll create a little bit of dimension and depth. But don't worry too much, because as soon as you start to blend, that colour's going to diffuse outwards anyway. Okay, so next we need to blend the eyeshadow out, and I'm going to be using the 208 Fluffy Eyeshadow Blending Brush. This is a really nice soft brush, but it's not too wide. Ideally, you want something that's just going to fit into the socket of the eye. And we're using more of a kind of back and forth motion to blend this out and up. So as you can see, that already starts to move upwards. So you don't need to really put a lot of eyeshadow on to begin with, because you start to create that kind of diffused effect as soon as you start blending. By using two separate brushes to apply and to blend, you get a much cleaner overall look, especially if you're blending two or more colours. And again, if you just check in with how it looks with the eyes open, make sure you're happy, then you can move on to the next step. So I'm going to be creating a really beautiful but really easy smoked out liner. So first of all, I'm going to go in with just a soft black smudgeable eyeliner pencil. You don't want anything that dries too quickly here. And all we're going to do is just create a really rough, soft line along the lashes. This does not need to be perfect, just go for it. Go back and add a little bit more liner, and we're going to continue building this. I like to make my liner thicker on the outside corner because I find it gives the whole face a little bit of a lift. Okay, so now we have a little bit of liner on. We're going to use an eyeshadow to diffuse that even more. So I'm going to be using the 205 Precise eyeshadow brush to just smoke out that line even a little bit more. I'm going to be doing that with an eyeshadow. This is like a soft kind of brownish black, and the great thing about this brush is it's very densely packed and quite small, so you can almost blend as you go. And I'm just going straight over the top of that eyeliner pencil. At this point, you can almost start to create a little bit of a wing if you want to. It'll be really super soft, but it just starts to direct the eyeshadow in the right way for your eye shape. The really good thing about building a smoky eye this way is it gives you a lot of control over the intensity. So if this is enough for you, just stop there, pop your mascara on, and then you're good to go. If you like a little bit more of a heavy makeup look, just build that line so that it's slightly thicker and more intense. I also like to make sure that the line is really well blended into the eyeshadow. So what I'm going to do is I've just wiped off the 205 brush on a tissue, and I'm going to go back in with that first colour that we used. That was the chocolatey brown kind of colour. And I'm just patting that over the top of the edge of the liner. This just means that even close up, it's going to look like it's blended really professionally, but without having to take too long. So just to make sure that this looks really clean and beautiful, especially if you're maybe topping it up after a day at work or something like that. You might want to go in with a little bit of concealer. So I'm actually going to go back to our 208 fluffy blending brush for this, and I'm just going to pop a little bit of this concealer underneath the eyes. It's important that this area is nice and bright when you've gone heavier on the eye makeup. The great thing about this brush is that it's really lightly packed, so the bristles are very soft, and around the eye area, that's really what you want for applying a really seamless kind of airbrushed concealer. So I'm taking a little bit of highlighter, and I'm just popping it right on the inside corner of that eye. It does wonders to brighten up the face. So this is our finished look. Super simple, super easy, and just using our 4 essential eye brushes.